Okay, wrestling family, this is Wrestling Fan Podcast. We have a sleepy Austin O'Connor right now. He just finished practice. He
Yeah.
finished wrestling practice. He won a NCAA 2021 NCAA national title, and he's still training, doing what champions do. So he's a little tired, but I appreciate his time tonight for us. So let's get right into it, Austin. First and foremost, congratulations. We're both Illinois guys, and it's an honor to just have you on and shout you out, pay those respects, and tell you congratulations. Congratulations on an NCAA championship. It's definitely not an easy feat, easy task to accomplish. So anytime you can have that under your belt, it just makes all that hard work worth it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All
All of it
right.
paid off.
Yeah, for sure. So congrats on that before we get started. But um, tell us a little bit about how it started for you. How did you get into wrestling? Tell me the backdrop and how old were you and things like that.
Yeah. So I was about 4 years old. Um, we went to get a new car, and we are at like the dealership, and the guy that was selling us the car actually ran the local club team, and he was like, "Yeah, why don't you guys like stop by for a practice?" And I was kind of young at the time, so they didn't really think about putting me in wrestling yet. But
Hmm.
my older brother got into it, and I've always had a high energy as a kid, so I was just always running around at their practice, like just kind of goofing around. And they were just like, "Hey, why don't you have him hop on the mat and start competing?" So I started getting after it right away, and yeah, so 4 years old.
4 years old. What kids program were you at?
Lockport Gators.
Lockport Gators. And then you went to St. Rita with my boy Didi, right? Dan Manzella. He was the
Yep.
coach at the time
Yeah.
for all
Yeah.
4 years.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome, man. For those who don't know, I went to University of Illinois with Dan Manzella. He was a St. Rita guy, and he went back to St. Rita after college and coached Austin here for 4 years and four state championships. Correct?
Yep.
Pretty ridiculous. So my brother Albert White, I consider my brother, not necessarily by blood, but we grew up from the Twisters. He was a St. Rita guy. So you were
Yeah.
chasing his four state titles, right?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. And Albert ended up going to Oklahoma State University, and you ultimately ended up going to, well, first before I get to college, tell me about that experience, that St. Rita. What was motivating you at that age? Because obviously you're an adolescent now. You're becoming a young man. You're no longer doing the kids wrestling crap. Well, not
Mm.
crap stuff, but you're in this high school phase. The stakes are higher. It needs better competition. And tell me about that experience for you in those 4 years and under Coach Manzella.
Yeah. So, I mean, right away I started, had high goals of being a four-time state champ, and I knew I
Right.
wanted to pick the right place that I thought I could get it done. And St. Rita felt like my best option. My brother was kind of in that program too, so I kind of got to be around the team early on, and just
Mhm.
I love the program and the school, and you could shadow at Catholic schools, so I got to be around them a lot. Took as many shadow days as I could just so I could be at the school, kind of hanging out, getting to know the team. It was an hour away from my house, so I kind of uh, had to know it was the right fit for me.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
yeah, so ultimately I felt it was the right fit, and I could get four state titles down there. So um, yeah, just ended up over there and under Coach Manzella, and yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. So then you chose to, I mean, obviously you were highly sought after in high school, winning four state titles, but you had won some world titles and stuff too, right? In the like freestyle and Greco, you were a freestyle guy and you won some pretty big nationally recognized tournaments as well, right?
Actually, not really. I kind of really didn't like freestyle as much as folk style. I took a
Okay.
lot of time off in the off season. Occasionally, I would do like Fargo, but I don't think I did my junior senior year. Um,
Okay. So you didn't train as much in the off season in the summers?
I mean, I did a little bit. So like Team Illinois always wanted me like on their teams and everything. So I'd always do the duels to help them out and everything, and
Right.
win a few titles for cadet and all of them, junior titles. But I don't know. I just never really went out to Fargo too much. I did a few times, mostly just Greco, and then so I stayed training and everything, but just didn't do freestyle and Greco as much as I was into folk style.
Well, listen, that's interesting because a lot of folks, diehard wrestlers and coaches, they always say, you got to be wrestling all year round, and you got to be doing this and you got to be doing that. So
Yeah,
you're a little outlier, in terms of garnering the success you have in college as a national champ, but telling us here that in high school it wasn't, you didn't do it as much in the summertime. So
yeah,
it can be done. It might have helped you too. So I think it depends on the kid, or
yeah.
sometimes
I
you
just
can get
felt like
burnt out. Yeah,
yeah, I
go
just
ahead.
kind of felt like I had to enjoy my time in high school.
Right,
I still did a little bit of training and everything when like I needed to. I like didn't try to get too out of shape, but
right.
like I said, I just kind of had to enjoy my time a little bit, and I knew that in college I was going to be wrestling all over the summers and everything. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Well, that's a good approach, and it's good that you took your career in your own hands in high school, because I know I did what I was told a lot, even in high school. Like, hey, you should be wrestling here, you should be wrestling there, and I'm like, okay, cool. If you don't do this, you're not gonna have the edge.
hmm
But yeah, it's good if you felt like you needed time off. That's good. I'm sure you still do that even on the college level, so that you don't get banged up too much or get burnt out. But let's talk a little bit about UNC, the ACC conference, right? What made you choose that university over and above any other potential university you could have went to? What about UNC and the ACC conference stood out to you?
yeah. So I mean, I got a lot of offers from a lot of different colleges,
Hmm.
and my top three schools were Illinois, Mizzou, and UNC. And I don't know, just like I kind of wanted to come to a program that wasn't like established yet, really. And I mean, UNC just got Coleman Scott. He
Right.
brought on Tony Ramos, and then we also had other great coaches. So I kind of knew that the program was changing directions and like kind of on the rise. And I thought I could be like one of the first people, like in their like first, second recruiting class that can help them get past that and like kind of. I mean, they kind of changed the ACC around too. Like I wouldn't say we were the deepest conference uh, out of all the conferences, but I mean, in the
Hmm.
past few years, I mean, I think we had four in the finals this year. So, I mean, we're definitely top two conferences right now. So, yeah.
Right, which is amazing and it's incredible, and it's definitely a testament to what Coleman Scott and Tony Ramos are building there with you guys for sure.
hmm
So, like on your recruiting trips, how much of it was was it a factor that Coleman Scott and Tony Ramos and what they said to you, and how training would be for you, and those types of promises, if you will, was it as opposed to the actual university and the campus? Because you said you went on many visits, so I'm sure you saw a lot of nice campuses and other things that could have caught your eye. But what about it? What was it about UNC? Was it Coleman Scott and Tony Ramos?
I mean, there was just a lot of factors that went into it, both wrestling and non-wrestling factors. Like, I mean, we're a great university. I'm gonna get a good degree from here. That'll help me
Mhm.
in life if I choose not to keep wrestling after college or whatever.
Right.
And then besides that, I had the coaching staff, I had the training partners, and I knew that if I trained the way I have been, like I could end up being a national champ if I stuck to it. And then besides that, I mean, I hate cold weather, so it was nice to get out of the
Mhm.
Midwest. A little warmer down here. The campus is beautiful. Yeah, so just right fit for me.
Good call. Good call. I hate cold weather too. So, I'm a
Yeah,
Chicago guy. Me and my wife, we've been in Houston. We're in Houston, Texas now. So we're never looking back unless we're visiting Chicago in the summertime. So
yeah. That wind in Chicago will get you. It's
yeah, it'll keep you,
yeah,
away for
yeah,
sure. So that's good stuff. And by the way, you got to get down here to Houston. Folks want to see people of your caliber here in Houston. I did a wrestling camp with TJ Williams last year before COVID hit, and got really good feedback and reception from folks here. But um, we need more. We need more folks with that wrestling mindset, with that wrestling background. high quality, high caliber to swoop through Houston and put them on the map. Texas has a lot of talented kids, man. So
Yeah,
keep us in mind.
I actually came out there I think 2 years ago. Is
Oh yeah,
Boneyard Wrestling?
Boneyard.
Yeah, I think it's near Houston.
It's
Houston,
not ringing a bell. Who's the head coach there?
shoot, I forgot his name. I'm not too sure. Tony Ramos is real good friends with them, so he kind
Okay,
of started with
okay.
them. Yeah,
Well, it's kind of crazy because I've been trying to see who is in this Houston area, So if they're close, I'm I can't believe I missed them. I've been looking. So
yeah,
all right, cool. So in terms of training, one thing that I'm thinking, and I know other folks are thinking, I'm sure you've had to make some adjustments in terms of training with the whole pandemic and COVID-19 and still trying to stay focused and keep your mind set on becoming a national champion. What adjustments did you need to make, or how was it different in terms of training and getting yourself prepared to have an opportunity to win that title?
yeah. So it was pretty difficult for me. Like, I mean, everything I do, I try to stay consistent and everything. And
Right.
COVID just kind of threw everything off. So like, it was hard for me to like consistently get in like the same training room. Kind of had to go different places to get on the mat. Some places were like shut down at different times. So I mean, I just kind of had to take what was open for me and get a workout in when I can. Um, I mean, we made it work though. We started was training out of Coleman's garage for a little bit, or I was training at Izzy Style in Illinois.
Hmm.
Or I mean, if I couldn't get into a room, I would just be training at my house, just doing whatever I could. Uh, but I mean, as long as I knew I was getting in the room and getting my stuff done when I needed to, I knew I'd be all right for the year. Luckily, we were able to get back into our wrestling room um, pretty early on in preseason. I know some schools couldn't get into their rooms until like January, so I'm
Right.
thankful we were able to get in early. But uh, yeah, like I said, I just kind of took what was open and stayed on my training.
Gotcha. Makes sense. So, do you feel like you were ready, or do you feel like, hey, everybody's pretty much going through the same thing, so let's just put it out on the table, compete my hardest. What happens, happens. Or do you feel like you had done enough condition wise and all the things you needed to do with making those adjustments going in? Did you feel really good, or did you kind of feel like, man, maybe I could have done more, but I'm just going to lay it out there anyway?
No, I feel like I got all the training I needed to. I felt ready going into the tournament. I felt more prepared than I was last year going into it.
What do
And
you
I,
mean by that? What do you mean by that? Because I think it's an interesting comment, the contrast between last year and this year, because me watching you, I noticed it. So I want to know what made you feel more prepared, or what did you do to kind of give you that extra boost and that extra edge to be able to accomplish what you accomplished this year?
yeah, so there's a few things. One, like I said, like kind of changing like how consistent I was. I mean, it's good to be consistent, but
Hmm.
sometimes when you get so used to something, like I don't know, it just kind of gets in your head a little bit mentally, just kind of like gets a little not boring, but like I don't know, it just kind of gets to you. So like just changing up my training, I felt like kind of helped me a little bit. Kind of helped me stay more motivated and just I kind of just enjoyed the process more.
Hmm.
Um, this year it was kind of cool. I like that our season was cut a little bit short. I don't think we need 6 months of a hard like draining season. I thought it was just short, straight to the point, and got done what needed to be done. And
Hmm.
then yeah, I mean, just like I said, just enjoying it and getting the opportunity to actually be able to wrestle on it because I mean last year got shut down, so just knowing like it could be shut down at any moment and
Right.
being grateful to have the opportunity to be able to compete in the NCAAs just
Yeah.
made it a little bit more like fun and exciting for me and
Hmm.
like made it a little bit easier to just kind of let it fly and like go after it, I guess.
Yeah, it just gave you that perspective, like you said, just being grateful for the opportunities, which is how we should all approach things every day. But sometimes we just take stuff for granted, And I know I felt this in my personal life too. Me and my wife, we like to travel a lot. We had to cut all that down, and The things you're used to doing, you can't do it anymore. Or if you have to make adjustments, if you're pursuing something specific, you have to make adjustments. It puts things in perspective,
Yeah.
for sure.
It
So
does.
that's cool. You were able to make those adjustments. You were able to keep a positive mind frame through it all and process it the right way. That's probably part of the reason why you became national champ, right? Because not everybody in that bracket probably processed it in
Yeah.
a positive way like you did. So
Mhm.
that's good stuff. What are your goals from here? So you have a national championship under your belt. Was that the first title in UNC history?
No, so we've had 3 before me. Last one was done in 1995 by TJ Jaworski,
Okay,
who's a 3-time NCAA champ for UNC. So, yeah.
gotcha. So you are trying to chase that, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm looking to catch up to him, get 3 titles, and I don't think he All-American his freshman year, so I'd just be a little bit above that since I got 3rd, but yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, cool. Well, what are you doing now in the off season, just in preparation for next season? What's that look like for you? I know you mentioned in a previous conversation you're kind of tapering down. Practices are a little shorter, but walk listeners through what a fresh national champ is doing to keep fit. But what does it look like now?
Yeah, so I mean, I took about a week off after NCAAs was finished, kinda just, let some injuries and stuff heal, feel better
Mhm.
about everything.
And you only needed a week.
Yeah, it was about a week, and
See,
then
you gotta wait till you hit your 30s like me. I need like a month. You know what I mean? If I get out of bed in the wrong way, I'm out for 2 weeks.
yeah, I feel that I'm starting to get there.
Nah, not quite. Not if you needed a week after wrestling a NCAA 3-day grueling championship and winning it, and you only needed a week. Nah, you're not where
It
I'm at yet.
it took me a week to start working out. I didn't really get back on the mat or nothing. It probably took me about 2, 3 weeks for that. I
Gotcha.
was just kinda, just lifting, getting little cardio in and stuff, but nothing really on the mat, and then, I think last week was the first time I started getting back on the mat.
Hmm.
Uh, it's been going good. Kinda, like I said, shorter practices. Haven't really been doing live yet. Kind of working on some skill. Um, I mean, there's some things I could have improved in the finals of the tournament. So I already kind of started working on that, getting ready for next year.
Yep.
Uh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah.
Yeah.
You had mentioned the finals. It was a close one, and you came out on top. It came down to the wire, right? So I mean, it went to the review board and things like that. And you got the call, got the title. What from that match is a takeaway for you? Because Sasso, he's not going anywhere. He's a tough kid. I'm sure you're gonna have. He's not a senior, is he?
No, he's younger than me. I think
Right. He's like a sophomore, right?
yeah, year behind me.
So I mean, he'll be back obviously from the Big Ten. You might meet up with him amongst a stacked field anyway, right? So
Mhm.
what's the big takeaway, I guess, just from that last match and things that you know for a fact? Hey, I'm going to work on here. I'm a little bit deficient here. I know I won the national title, but here's what I'm going to go back to the drawing board and work on to become even better, because that's what a champion mindset is, right? Is constantly refining, constantly finding ways to improve what you got going on there.
Yeah, I think I wrestled a really good match. So I guess a key takeaway would I don't really know. I thought my match was really good, so I guess I just kind of have to get past his hands a little bit more, maybe. Um, in the match, usually I feel like he allows a lot of guys in on his legs, and I feel like he didn't want me in on his legs because I'm usually uh, good at finishing. So like, I don't know, it would have been a fight, but like I said, he didn't really let me in, so we didn't really get to test that out, see what each other had.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was probably like the first time I've ever done a slide by in a match. I don't really hit slide bys. So, I mean, just being in big matches like that, I've always felt comfortable and kind of just like I said, just letting it fly and just seeing what's there. And like when something's open, just taking it. And so, I mean, next time I wrestle him, I want to put up more points. So maybe I'll get in on his legs more, try to get to a few more snap downs. I think I got to like 1 or 2 snap downs in the match, but couldn't capitalize and score off of them. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, just next match is going to be the same thing. I'm just going to keep looking for my next score and taking what's open. But there's definitely a few things I want to get back in the room and ask Coleman about, see what his opinion is on stuff, and kind of go from there and hopefully create more openings next time.
Yeah, I hear you. That makes sense. Is Coleman the technician? Is that your go-to guy, your go-to coach? Who you're most comfortable with in the room? I know when I was competing, I really liked Coach Heffernan and Carl Perry, and I like to go live with Jeremy Hunter a lot because Jeremy Hunter had impeccable positioning on the mat. So I would make sure that I go wrestle him and learn how to stay in position, you know. And Carl Perry, he's just a tough guy to get in on, tough guy to score on, and he's got an awesome sweep. So
Yeah.
he's just got some things that I know I wanted to make sure I was going with him. Is there a coach in that room or folks in that room that you know that you want to go with a lot or that you talk to a lot to get better?
Honestly, not really a certain go-to. I mean, Coleman's my guy, and he's, as you probably seen, in my corner and everything. So I
Yep.
go to him a lot. But like I said, like the big reason I picked the school is because we had a whole great coaching staff.
Right.
So I mean, we just added Jameel Kelly, who's also another great technician. So I mean, I could literally just go to anyone for anything. But depending on the
I'm glad
position,
you mentioned Jamil Kelly. I don't know why he slipped my mind, but yeah, he's an impeccable wrestler. Um, Shout out to
yeah.
Jamil Kelly. I'm sorry I forgot to mention him before. I'm glad you did because I would have been upset if we ended this podcast and I'd never mentioned Kelly. But
Mhm.
yeah, he's a great wrestler and somebody that I know that you're getting positive stuff from. So go ahead, keep talking about that. I'm glad you mentioned him.
Yeah, so I've learned a lot from him this year. He's got a lot of like different moves. We were just going over technique yesterday, and he
Right.
showed me a few freestyle moves I've never seen before. So, I mean, just you get something new from each of the coaches that we have on staff, and depending on like this position I'm working, uh, depends on who I'm probably going to go ask for help because I mean they all got something different to offer.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, yeah, I mean, nice
Yeah.
having fun.
For sure. And the good thing about that coaching staff, just from the outside looking in, obviously you're under their tutelage and they're coaching you, but from the outside looking in, all of them have accomplished great things in the sport and have gone on to compete internationally, right? So I mean, they've got this big view of wrestling that's even beyond just the college level. So I mean, you got no choice but to learn from those guys, right?
Yeah, yeah. And plus we have Kenny too, so we have 3 medalists on staff and couldn't be better.
Right. So how's it looking for next year and recruitment? Do you guys got some good talent coming in to help you out there and get you back with several guys in that national finalist spot competing?
Wait, so you're asking, like, the recruits we got coming in?
Yeah, your recruitment class. Do you know anything about it? Any top guys that they might be able to pull in to help UNC continue to build their name?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't met any of them really too much yet. We just got that Lachlan McNeil on campus. He's a real tough kid around my weight, so we got to train a little bit in the RTC, and I think there's going to be some big things coming from him. He's a tough athlete.
Right.
He came over from Canada actually, so I think he went to Wyoming some for 2 years, and so he's only been doing free or folk style for I think the last 2 3 years. But I mean, he's already picked it up so quick and has been a good training partner. And then besides him, I know we got a great recruiting class coming in. Uh, Tony and Coleman and all of our coaches have been putting together something special to hopefully get us to win a national title in the next couple of years.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, totally unrelated, and we'll wrap up here pretty soon. But what is Austin O'Connor eating these days? Are you do you just have this normal, hey, this is what I eat, or is this is like off-season food? Do you have are you eating off-season food right now,
Yeah,
or is it are
definitely
you
off
pretty
season food. Yeah.
tell us about that? Because I know some folks who they eat healthy all year round, and that's just what it is. But for me, I know for me, I have my pizza and my my special little all season things that I like to indulge in. What's Austin O'Connor eating these days?
Yeah, so in season, I usually cook a lot. So in the off season, I kind of like to enjoy my time and just make something real quick and simple.
Yeah.
Usually I'll just get a bunch of frozen food, stack my freezer, and whenever I'm hungry, I just throw it in the. Just got a nice air fryer, so just throw a bunch of stuff
Yeah,
in the air
buddy.
fryer, and yeah,
That
uh,
air fryer is nice, isn't it? I got one
yeah,
too.
they're real nice.
It's the
Cooks
real
real fast.
deal.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
try some French fries yet? Real potatoes, cut them up, put them in there.
Uh, Not real. I didn't make my own French fries, just frozen French fries. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So you're serious about the frozen foods.
yeah.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff, man. Well, listen, it's great talking to you, great catching up with you. I really appreciate you lending me your time. And before I let you go, what advice would you have for a young wrestler out there, a young competitor who's striving to be the best person that they can be in the sport? What advice would you have for them? Because it's a tough sport mentally. You got to do a diet. You got to just have a positive mindset, and it's also physically taxing. It's a tough sport to be in. So, what advice would you give our youngsters out there?
First, I would just say like enjoy it while it lasts. I mean, you'll never know what happens. So I mean, be grateful for the time you get on the mat and everything.
Mhm.
Uh, and then, like I said, another thing for me growing up is just being consistent. Stay on your training, and eventually things will work out if you know you're in the room every day grinding and putting your best effort in. Things will work out. So yeah,
That's great advice, my man. That's great advice.
thanks.
Hey, thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of this evening. Get you some of those frozen foods in the air fryer. Get a nice
Can't wait
meal
to
tonight.
Can't wait to get back to Chicago though.
Oh
Then I'm not
yeah.
eating frozen food anymore. I'm eating Portillo's. I'm eating
Oh
pizza.
yes.
Pizza.
Portillo's.
Yeah,
What's your favorite pizza spot? Is it Beggars, Geno's East? Is it
I love
Aurelio's?
burgers. I mean, we
Yeah.
order Beggar's Pizza like every Friday at my house.
There you go.
I'm an hour outside of Chicago, so we don't really get to get that real good deep dish from like Lou Malnati's. But
Right, right.
I mean, we got a Beggar's like 10 minutes from my house, so we get that about every Friday.
Good stuff. Well, enjoy. You earned it. It's good to see an Illinois guy swoop in and do exceptionally well at the collegiate level, man. And all the best to you in the future. You got a great head on your shoulders, and it was a pleasure just rapping with you today. I really appreciate your time. All right.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, Austin. Take care, man.
So yeah.
All right.